And our number 5 main topic today comes to us from Jason Fay, who writes, I read that AT&T / WarnerMedia is closing on a $500 million deal with Bad Robot. I dig J.J. Abrams' talent and eye. I'm happy for everyone at Bad Robot, but the price tag seems a little high. Ignoring the established franchises like Star Wars, Bad Robot has not really been box office gold. And frankly, Bad Robot recently has had some box office clunkers. Maybe I'm missing something. What are your thoughts on the rumored deal? All right, thanks a lot for the message, Jason. For those of you who don't know what he's talking about, J.J. Abrams and his Bad Robots production, they've kind of had a number of deals with a number of companies, and they're kind of a free agent right now, to use sports terminology. Every studio in this town has been courting Bad Robot and J.J. Abrams to sign up with them. The word right now is that J.J. and his co-CEO wife have zeroed in on, and they're going to be closing a deal fairly shortly here with WarnerMedia to the tune of $500 million. The question then becomes, now what this would mean is he would set up a shingle at Warner, he would produce content for Warner, and maybe even, take over development of some Warner properties at some point. There's a lot of different things that this could entail. The question becomes, is JJ kind of worth all that? I mean, are these types of numbers, $500 million, is he worth that? Maybe yes, maybe no. I mean, if we go over and look at some of, this is just simply from a Wikipedia thing here, but if you look over some of the films they've done, okay, Star Wars, but that's Star Wars Overlord, which, by the way, in 2018, I really like Overlord. I thought it was a hell of a lot of fun, but nobody went to go see it, which is too bad because I thought it was fun. Mission Impossible Fallout, Cloverfield Paradox sucks ass. Star Trek Beyond, I like the Star Trek films. Cloverfield Lane, a lot of people like. Then again, another main franchise film in Force Awakens, other Mission Impossible, and so on and so forth. When you get into television, Alias is one of my all-time favorite shows. It started my love affair with Jennifer Garner that she doesn't know that we have. And a number of other TV shows, some hit, some miss, all that kind of stuff. So it brings us back to the question, though, of is J.J. Abrams and Bad Robot worth $500 million to sign to? Rob, it's a big number. Do you think it's money well spent?
Not really. I mean, if you look at those movies, yes, like the Mission Impossible franchise, which Bad Robot didn't start. They just took over. They put their imprimatur on it with 3 because J.J. Abrams directed 3. Their Star Trek movies were hideously expensive. Beyond didn't turn a profit, and Into Darkness, debatable. Their television, they've done a lot of great stuff on TV, but then a lot of stuff that didn't go anywhere. However, it's pretty clear that they do produce decent. They're not bargain basement, bottom of the barrel kind of people. They're shooting for the fences. Over at Bad Robot, they're trying to do some great stuff. And I think if you round out what they're going to provide for Warner Brothers Television and you round out what they might do feature-wise for Warner Brothers, I mean, if they can attract filmmakers like a Chris McQuarrie to work on DCEU films, for instance, if J.J. Abrams will come and direct himself the next Man of Steel movie, however they want to play it, it really depends. We've seen big deals like this before. Remember when Simpson Bruckheimer came to Paramount and they got some huge and then Sony gave him a bunch even more money,
right?
And it didn't work out. Those deals didn't work out because the $500 million has to be paid for. They're borrowing money or whatever, and to make a good profit, you're looking at $1.5 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion. That's a tough nut, man, and you're asking a lot of people. But it's amazing. J.J. Abrams is very well liked in Hollywood, and I think $300 million, I'd be like, oh, okay. But $500 million, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, see, to me,
rough.
I see numbers like this, Rob, and the first thing that comes to my head is this $500 million is clearly not for what he has done. It's for what they think he's going to do. This is a thing of we believe this guy, we want to lock him up. We want to lock it up. This is it. He's ours. He works with us, blah, blah, blah. And I'll tell you what, there's some theories going around that aren't the craziest theories in the world, which are we need a steady hand to run some of our upcoming major franchises. Some people are thinking, hell, could we see a DC movie under the banner of Bad Robot? I think that's totally feasible. How that would work with a Walter Hamada and stuff, I have no idea at this point. Maybe they work together. Who knows? But we all know that right now, franchise is the name of the game when it comes to Hollywood. They're all looking for franchises. These are the cash cows, and everybody's having a hard time making them work. Well, you can make an argument that J.J. Abrams kind of resurrected and saved a franchise in Mission Impossible, because that franchise was going nowhere after number 2. I mean, after number 2, that was going nowhere. So he's done that. Also, with the upcoming Warner Brothers streaming service, one of the more celebrated showrunners in the town is a J.J. Abrams and his company. So, of course, you might want to get... So I think this is a multi-platform strategy that they're putting in terms here of properties they already own, properties that... Because I think a lot of people are just thinking in terms of properties that J.J. Abrams will create moving forward. I think that's one of the pillars, but the other ones is the properties Warner Brothers already owns and the upcoming Warner Brothers streaming service and getting his expertise in on that. And I think it's a broad-ranging, wide scope kind of strategy that they're putting in play here. And I'm still kind of with you that $500 million seems a bit much. But I'll tell you what, though. If they are able to put in motion that 3-pillar approach, what JJ is going to create, what he takes over for them on the movie front, and what he takes over and does for them in streaming, if it even 70% works, they could be looking back a number of years from now and going, that was the best $500 million we've ever spent. So it seems excessive to me, but then again, the ambition seems excessive. And if you're going to have big excessive ambition, maybe you got to do a little bit of this. So I don't know.
You know what? You're right. And if you look at the Mission Impossible franchise. That's one franchise. Look at the grosses of Mission Impossible 3, Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout. And look how that has been a franchise that's just gone on an uptick.
Yeah.
And that alone, I mean, if they were able to come up with a moribund franchise that Warner has that nobody thought would, hey, well, what can we bring back? And they were able to do something like that, it would make it all worth it for the studio. And in addition, like you said, multi-platform streaming and Bad Robot, they do a lot of their own internal production, like editorial and post. They've streamlined that process, and I think that it could be a good move. It's just the price tag. That's some sticker shock there.
It's a risk.
I mean, and it's not like you're getting an Aston Martin or a Lambo from J.J. Abrams. He's one of these guys that just drives like really souped up Mustangs. You know, so if that's what you want.
He does have a $2 billion film under his belt. I mean, let's keep that
true,
in mind.
But basically, even that movie is it's not exactly highbrow. He made a Star Wars cover band and hit it big.
I thought it was great. Anyway, guys, though, it comes down, what do you guys think about this? If you're in charge of Warner, understanding money doesn't grow on trees, do you make a deal for like $500 million for what could or may not work out? Jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts.